Good afternoon and welcome to BizTech's ASEAN Midday Market Watch. Our guest today is Gabriel Yap, Executive Chairman of GCP Global. Now, Gabriel, as always, great to have you on the Friday.
Yes, it's Friday again, Brian, and thanks for having me.
Now, Gabriel, let's take a look at how markets are performing before getting your insights. Now, we're going to start today with taking a quick look at Bitcoin, which is at 37,299.5. Over a 24-hour period, it's down 1.22%. Ethereum is at 2,653.86. It's down over a 24-hour period, 1.77%. So given the volatility of Bitcoin and Ethereum, not a lot of movement at all. But if we look closer at stock markets across the region, and we will start with the Nikkei, which is at, and let me take a look at the screen, 29,158.6. It's up sharply 2.14%. Shanghai Composite is flat at 3,609.03. The Hang Seng is at 29,297.18. It's up 0.63%. The ASX 200 is up 1.13% at 7,175.1. And rounding up the numbers, we've got the Kospi, which is at 3,194.29. It's up 0.91%. Now, it's a sea of green across the region. Gabriel, what's prompting this optimism in markets?
Well, I think essentially the market's just recovering, and it's actually coming off some data that we've seen from that actually helps to pacify that the threat of inflation may not be as bad as what is originally feared. If you recall, Brian, I think this actually started when the CPI in the US shot up to an all-record high, 4.2%. Now, the last time we saw 4.2% of CPI into the US was already almost 20 years ago. But more importantly, not only just core CPI, the actual CPI, that means the core CPI stripping out the volatile food prices, also indicate a trend. And of course, if you look at personal consumption as well as actually the PPI numbers, it also indicates an uptrend. And if you look at the survey of the University of Michigan, which is actually poll as to what is the consensus CPI, PPI numbers, core CPI numbers in the next 3 months, 6 months ahead, that seems to be an upward trend. And of course, we have actually some of the prominent fund managers taking short positions, backing the fact that interest rates are going to rise. Before 2023 actually add to the turbulence in the market. I think what the market's actually getting now is a semblance of a certain sense of sanity. I think they realize that yes, the 10-year long bond yield has actually hit 1.77% on 31st of March. Have actually eased now back to 1.547. Today is at 1.6. But it's actually still far off from the 1.77% that was first appeared on the 31st of March, which led to the sell-off in April and early.
Now, Gabriel, I want to shift to the news of the day in Hong Kong, which is basically the IPO of JD Logistics, which opened at 46.05 Hong Kong dollars and then surged up to 18% from its issue price at one point, and then it's kind of retracted. So, Gabriel, it was heavily oversubscribed. There is obviously still a heavy appetite for Chinese stocks, despite the tightening of regulation on fintech companies and also the ongoing crackdown on monopolistic behavior by Chinese internet platform companies. Where do you see the opportunities now in the Chinese tech space?
Well, Brian, for JD Logistics, as well as the other competitors like SF Express, as well as actually ZTO Express, I'm actually positive on this last mile logistics simply because one is the fact they are big supporters of the e-commerce companies, platform companies like Tencent, Alibaba, Tencent. So for them to actually have e-commerce thriving, you need the last mile delivery to actually handle that. And JD Logistics fits into this nice well. Secondly, if you look at the oversubscription by a humongous 714 times, over similar to Kuaishou IPO in the earlier part of this year, you notice that essentially the people are still flocking towards companies that are riding on the e-commerce trend. Like in this case, it's logistics. But The big difference is that they are still loss-making. Yes, JD Logistics have guided for lower losses this year because of heavier investments. But I think the smarter people are actually more willing to take a position that good businesses like JD Logistics, as well as Logistics will thrive, will be there in the next 5 years. Yes, they're making loss-making now, but if this losses narrow in the next couple of years, they are in for a ride.
Now, do you have the same view for Meituan? Because it's China's leading food delivery group. Its latest results disappointed investors, and it's down about 40% from its peak in February. Do you see that as potentially a buying opportunity?
I do, Brian, simply because one, as you mentioned, has fallen a lot. It's come down from a high of $460 Hong Kong dollars. It dropped to a low of $240 just about 2 weeks ago when we first picked it up, simply because the CEO actually tweeted something that was seen as negative to the market. Right now, the share price actually recovered back to 280, but because of today's results, it's pulled back a bit. But if you take a closer look at the results, I think it is quite clear that the string of losses there, like oats, and not only just this year and next year or so, will continue simply because they are reinvesting heavily into Meituan Meituan. This is actually their group buying community business that they're pushing. And if you look at what Meituan actually did, that was like only 3 weeks ago when they raised 10 billion. Yes, 10 billion, right, in new funds. We noticed that the placement price at 273 may indicate a good indication that that is the level that a lot of institutions are willing to support the price.
Now, Gabriel, I need to get your insights into all the noise that's out there in terms of markets right now. For an ordinary investor, because with the ebbs and flows right now, people are talking about the pandemic, rising interest rates driven by real prices in the real economy. Where are you putting your money to work right now?
Well, to be honest, Brian, Bitcoin actually continued to crash. Now, of course, it'll be interesting because Bitcoin as well as Ethereum actually epitomizes the noise that we talk about in the market. So Bitcoin, for example, ran from 17,000 to 34,000. And when you thought it was already, 100% now it's time to go. But when Elon Musk actually tweeted that, wow, Tesla is actually accepting Bitcoin, that actually sent Bitcoin in a frenzy from 37,000 to 60,000. Before you knew it, there wasn't any fundamental news because there's hardly any fundamental news on Bitcoin. Yeah. But it's a matter of demand and supply, whatever you say in Reddit, whatever you say on AMC and GameStop, and then you actually have the price falling down. And when people saw that 40,000 is a floor, guess what? It crashed back to 30,000. It's now rebounded to about 37,000. Where we'll go next, I do not know. How the price will behave, I can only tell you one. It's going to be volatile. It's going to be up a lot, down a lot. But you know what? Since Bitcoin started this particular year, there has only been a few single days where you can count with one hand, right? That where its volatility on the day-to-day is less than 5%. So if you are into Bitcoin, it's because you are driven or you need your adrenaline to come up in many ways. So it may not suit the psychology for many investors, but you will love the psychology of many investors.
Now, Gabriel, thank you very much for coming on the show.
Thanks, Brian.
Now, we've been speaking to Gabriel Yap, Executive Chairman of GCP Global, on BizTech's ASEAN Midday Market Watch. I'm Brian Fernandez. Please check out our LinkedIn and Facebook pages, as well as our website, www.biztech.asia. Please like and subscribe to our various platforms. Thanks a lot for tuning in.